My Place, a project for Human Values Foundation. So this is the first thing you'll see when you load into level 2, and basically it tells you what to do and what you'll go off and find. Once you push 2 fingers down, that message will go away, and it's the same throughout the rest of them. This is beacon number 1. Basically the idea is to help Fred, which is this fish, escape the ropes. So you do that by tapping so many times on the screen and stuff starts to happen. He'll then come down and talk to you and help you out, figure out what else you got to do in the level. This disappears after a certain amount of time of 15 seconds. So now I'll go off and find the second beacon, which is around here. We tried to make this look like a walkway so it'd be easier for people to find things. Also, when you come near to this grass area, it will light up and other grass areas will do the same. This idea we got from Avatar and we implemented it into our game. So this is beacon number 2. Basically this is the same principle as before in level 1, where you just go through the objects and you pick them up. This is to help kids learn about like oil cans in the sea, and by getting rid of them it helps the wildlife. So now I can go off and find number 3, which is over here. Same principle as before. You keep tapping the screen until the dolphin gets clean, and then he will also talk to you. And then it will disappear. This is beacon number 4, where you pick up all the plastic. Then if we go over here, there's a boat, and this is mostly for exploration of this level, just to add some aesthetics in and for people to play on and just look at really. We would add more of this sort of thing into the level if we had more time, and it's something for future improvements. Then over here is the final beacon. This is basically where you help the fish build all the reef back up. We're currently still waiting for the reef to be built in 3D, but for now it would be where that green panel is on the floor, and these rocks in front of you will be placed somewhere else and hidden better. But for now, to show you, you pick it up and you basically bring it back all the way to the reef, and then once that's done, you would then unlock the next level, or win level 2 basically. So that's all that's left to be done.
We started the My Place project in semester 1. Success of level 1 led to us making level 2 in semester 2. Level 1 of My Place had already been started by previous third years. They had made the assets for us to use to complete the level. Level 2 required us to make everything from scratch, but we had more freedom in what we could create. Our client was also flexible in what we could make for the level. After lots of research, we decided to make the second level underwater theme, with Avatar and Finding Nemo our main inspiration.
We are a team of 2, including myself, developer, and Maria, designer. We use software like Photoshop, Cinema 4D, Maya, Illustrator, and Unity. This game was mostly coded in C# and JavaScript within Unity. From the first level, we decided to improve it and make a few amendments, including making the level 1 map smaller. This is because it took a while to load on the phone, and from the feedback we got from our client that it took too long to complete tasks. The button design and user interface was also improved to improve functionality and understanding of what buttons do. Optimization for phones so that the runtime was better and didn't take too long to load. However, our main objective for this semester was to make level 2, which is an underwater world. This included making more tasks in the game and adding more animals and interactions for the player to experience.
Pros and cons. These are a few pros and cons for the second level. Pros. We had more range to what we could make for design and development. We had the base layer, pickup tasks, and player pre-coded from the first level. This made it easier to make the second level because we could use the first level codes. We had more time to develop and plan from week 1 because we knew what was needed and could get started promptly. Another pro is that we had the ability to learn new skills in development, for example, how to code certain parts of the task, and designing purposes for the app, for example, making 3D assets on different programs. Cons. Some of the cons we had included were that we had a smaller team from semester 1. This means that more work was required for both me and Mal. There was also much more work to be done on this level because we were designing, developing, and animating from scratch. 3D work was needed for this level, which meant new skills were required.
Device and preferences. The statistics you can see on the right hand side are based on the Samsung Galaxy 3 and the iPhone 5, as these are the most owned phones currently. Overall, Android phones are more powerful than iPhones. As we have mainly been testing on an Android, it is essential that we also test on an iPhone to see if it lags or has any bugs. They both have the same amount of storage and RAM. We need to keep the file size below 15 megabytes. Currently it's 23 megabytes, which would require a Wi-Fi connection to download. We also need to keep up to date with which versions are running on phones so we don't produce for outdated versions. Currently, the versions are 8 plus for iOS and 4 plus for Android.
This is our timeline. We kept to as much as possible, but because of a few delays with documentation, we were not able to upload the app to the App Store or Google Play.
My first milestone was to block out the map and use simple shapes to create the map and start coding the tasks. This made it easier for me to see where things needed to go and how they would function. It also allowed me to start coding before I had any of the assets. I then went on to animating the fish and the assets I got from the design within Unity. This was so it's more interactive and more realistic. I also started to fill in the designs instead of using the simple shapes. This included things like plastic and ropes for the fish. I tested the game throughout on a phone to make sure it was working well and that it saved when you completed level 1. The last part is optimizing the phone and getting it to the right file size to make sure it's not too taxing on the phone's power and is small enough to be downloaded on a 3G internet.
The milestones I personally hit was the ability to sketch designs, make them in Illustrator/Photoshop. After this, I was able to transfer the designs I made into a 3D program such as Maya, Cinema 4D, or Photoshop 3D. When I started this project, I had never used 3D softwares. As well as making assets for the app, I was learning how to use the 3D software through online tutorials and help from Corinne. This is an example of a problem that we had faced. I had made a 3D dolphin using Photoshop 3D. When transferring the file into Unity, the dolphin would disfigure and the texture would not map out onto the dolphin properly. We fixed the problem by reducing the unused space around the texture file. This made the dolphin look normal. This is another example of a problem that I had faced. When designing an eel for the game, I was not able to use some of the features because I had no experience using them. For example, in the picture below you can see that there is a hole inside the eel where I was not able to fill the gap up. This made it a problem because I had spent a lot of time making the eel but was not able to complete it.
When I was developing the build of the coral reef at the end of the level, I made an object attached to the parent of the player, and then wanted it to attach to the parent on the floor. However, this made a bug where the object would shake because of the two if statements were conflicting each other. To fix this, I set the code to set the object's parent to null, which is nothing, when it hits the floor, and turn off the collider so that the player couldn't pick it up again. And once it did hit the floor, a particle would appear so that you knew that you completed that task. Another problem I had was that I made a script that counted how many taps on the screen there were, and after 15 taps something would happen. This was mainly for when you was cleaning the dolphin or you were breaking free the fish in the ropes. The problem was that it was taking taps from all the screen and not the object. I looked into raycasting and didn't manage to do it. However, then I made a button using Unity UI and attached it to the new script, which now works. And it's an invisible button, so the player can just tap on the screen and it will register the taps. This is the trailer we made to advertise and show what you could do in the game.
If we were to do this again, we would do more user testing and try and meet up with our client more often. This would ensure that we are meeting the target audience's needs as well as the client's needs. We would also get more feedback on how to improve the app directly from our target audience. If we had a few more members to help us with the project, they would help out with 3D modeling and get it to the best of standards. Thank you for watching and listening to our presentation.